Jungkook's new era, the return of a visionary. Hello Army. When the world stopped to listen for one voice. Sometimes, it's not the loudest voice that changes the world, but the one we miss in silence. For over a year, Jeon Jungkook was gone. No live streams. No music. No stage. Just absence. And yet, the world waited. Not with noise, but with reverence. Because Jungkook isn't just an idol. He is a mirror. A voice. A story still unfolding. The years before, fame, fatigue, and fading identity. Before the military. Before the silence. There was chaos. At the peak of his solo success, Jungkook was everywhere. 7th topping global charts. Golden and breaking Spotify records. Headlining international stages. But behind the flashing lights, fans began noticing something else. A weariness in his eyes. A stiffness in his laughter. A growing distance from the boy who once danced with innocent joy. I felt like I was running forward, but didn't know where I was going anymore, he once shared. And then, like a candle gently blown out, he disappeared. The barracks, and the beginning of becoming. For many, military service is an obligation. For Jungkook, it became a spiritual pause. No cameras. No applause. Just cold mornings, folded uniforms, shared meals, and silence. For the first time, I wasn't the Jungkook from BTS. I was just another man in uniform. He kept a journal, not for fans, not for fame, but for himself. And in those pages, he wrote about the quiet, about the loneliness, about finally hearing his own thoughts. There were nights I cried. Not out of pain, but because I realized how much of me I'd hidden for years. The Calvin Klein statement, fashion as identity reborn. When Jungkook re-emerged, it wasn't with a tweet. It was with an image. Black and white. Eyes that held stories. A body no longer seeking approval, but standing in full self-ownership. This isn't just a comeback. It's a declaration. In Calvin Klein's 2025 global campaign, Jungkook didn't just model. He transformed. His posture said, "I know who I am now." His stare whispered, "I am no longer afraid of being seen." Fashion critics called it a masterclass in silent storytelling. A visual poem of male vulnerability and strength. He wasn't selling clothes. He was unveiling a new self. The second album, A Journey into the Fifth Self. His debut solo album Golden was polished, clean, and successful. But his second album? It is raw, disruptive, unfinished, on purpose. Tentative title, The Fifth Self. Meaning, the first 4 selves were what the world made of me. This one, I made for me. The songs are stripped, minimal, haunting. One track uses nothing but echo and breath. Another is a confessional spoken word piece over a looped heartbeat. One ballad is rumored to be recorded in a single take, where Jungkook breaks down mid-song and keeps going. Collaborations are subtle but profound. A track with a classical cellist from Europe. A duet with a mystery female vocalist, voice unrevealed, speculated to be someone outside the K-pop world. Production guidance from Yoongi, creating a sonic blend of warmth and ache. This album isn't for the charts. It's for the soul. The tour, a live letter to self and fans. A concert is entertainment. But Jungkook's planned solo tour? It's a ritual. This is not a performance. It's a journey. The stage will be circular. No front. No back. No hiding. Each section is themed after a part of his life. The child, naive beginnings, dreams, fears. The idol, bright lights, high costs, lost identity. The silence, reflections from the barracks. The fire, rage, resistance, breaking free. The light, acceptance, healing, home. Visuals include his own childhood videos, letters from fans read aloud between songs, on-screen poetry written in his own handwriting. At the end of each show, Jungkook will read one journal entry. Never the same twice. A gift only to those who came that night. Hidden codes, symbolism, spirituality, and a new message. Fans have begun piecing together symbols. Lotus imagery, Buddhist rebirth. Quotes from Rumi, Sufi mystic poet. The phrase, "the wound is the place where the light enters." Was this just aesthetic? Or something deeper? Some believe Jungkook is building his own artistic faith language. One that blends his culture, his trauma, and his transformation into a new mythology of healing. He's not preaching. He's offering an invitation. You don't have to be perfect. Just real. The industry shifts, how Jungkook is changing everything. Global media is paying attention. Not just to his voice, but to what he represents. He's no longer a star, he's a movement. Time magazine, the face of a new generation of global art. The New York Times, a pop artist who dares to be human. National Geographic, rumored to be developing a documentary following Jungkook's creative rituals, travel, and inner growth. Young artists now cite Jungkook not just as an influence, but as a liberation. He showed us we can feel deeply and still be strong. Not a comeback, a resurrection. This is not the return of an idol. This is the awakening of an artist. This is the rebirth of a soul. Jeon Jungkook has moved past stardom. He is building a space where art meets emotion, where silence becomes symphony, where truth becomes music. He doesn't need to shine anymore. He's the fire itself. A call to the hearts listening. If you've ever lost yourself in the crowd, if you've ever felt like your voice didn't matter, if you've ever wished someone could hear the words you couldn't say, then wait for this album. Because maybe it's not you listening to Jungkook. Maybe it's Jungkook listening to you. There are albums that entertain. There are albums that comfort. And then, there are albums that listen. This might be one of those. Because what if this time, Jungkook is not just singing from his soul, is reaching out to yours? What if every lyric, every beat, every breath in this album is not just his voice echoing through your headphones, but your own unspoken feelings being returned to you? Finally heard, finally recognized, finally understood? Jungkook has always had a gift. A gift not just for melody, rhythm, or performance, but for connection. He listens without needing to be in the room. He feels things fans haven't said out loud. He sees the silent struggles, the hopes, the questions, and he translates them into music. So what if this album was born not just out of inspiration, but from you? From the countless letters, the quiet tweets, the teary-eyed fans in stadiums who never got the words out, but hoped, just once, that Jungkook would understand. Maybe this time, he does. So wait for this album. Because maybe, this time, it's not about you listening to Jungkook. Maybe this time, Jungkook is listening to you. Like this video, to show that you're still listening, and that his voice still matters. Subscribe for the continuation of this story. Because this chapter is only the beginning. The real story begins when the album drops. Comment below. What truth do you want to hear in Jungkook's new music? Is it healing? Is it rebellion? Is it love? Is it closure? Which version of him speaks to you the most? The child, the idol, or the fire? The wide-eyed dreamer? The global superstar we all watched grow? Or the fierce, unapologetic soul who's unafraid to burn down walls? Tell us. Because your story might just be the one he's already singing.